Hey, this G Butterfly. Welcome to the Watch and Whisper channel. And tonight I want to talk about this Monique and Sidney live that happened. I think it happened today, maybe yesterday, but I actually watched it. So I took a few notes and I'm just going to give my thoughts on what they talked about on their live. And if this is your first time coming to my channel, welcome. If you've been coming before, thanks for coming back. Please consider liking my videos, sharing, and subscribing. And let's get started. All right. So Monique and her husband had a live that lasted about an hour, maybe a little bit more. And yes, I took some notes because I was trying to keep up with everything. And she stated immediately that she did not air out DL Hughley. Well, if anybody's been watching over this last weekend, we know that she went on a rant during her Fox Theater performance in Detroit over the weekend, and she laid into DL Hughley like nobody's business. I think everybody was shocked about that. I know I was. Well, she went on to say that it was evident that she went on to say that what she was irritated about happened many, many, many years ago. And you could tell that she just been waiting for the opportunity to let his ass have it. And so she said that she purposely did not call him about what she was irritated about. In her mind, she said that she just waited because she knew there would come a day when she would be in the same space with DL Hughley and she can just unleash on him. And that she did. Now, if you think she was right, that's your opinion. If you think she was wrong, that's your opinion. But let loose, she did. All righty, so we're going to keep on going. She said that DL has continually talked about her and others on different interviews for many years. And she said she didn't think it was right, but she never called and said anything to DL about it. And she said she felt that DL was kind of tender about what she said about him over the weekend. Now, she said, I'm not making reference to his sexuality, but I'm saying, yeah, he's a little tender about what I said. And I think she's just saying that he was a little upset. Well, hell, anybody would be upset if she just ran you up one side and down the other, because that's what she did. Now, one thing I noticed, in which I've seen her interviews with her husband, Sidney, before. Sidney was like guiding the interview. Not interview, I'm sorry, guiding the conversation. It's like he would guide her and pretty much tell her what he wanted her to say, and then he would chime in and say what he wanted to say. So Mo said that in the 90s, she invited DL to her house. And anyone who saw DL's radio show, he made reference that he was invited to Monique's house. He had a great time. She was a good host. He said nothing negative about his interaction when he went to her house. He did say that happened. She went on to say that he had a show in Maryland, and I think she may have been on the same ticket with him. There was a show in Maryland. I think Mike Tyson was fighting that night, so a lot of people didn't come to the show. She said she invited DL. She made it seem like only 10 people came to the show. Now, if that's true, I don't know. I wasn't there. She said she invited DL and all of his people. And I got the impression she was talking about the people who came to the show. She invited them all back to her house. I thought that was a little strange because that means you were inviting strangers to your house. So I don't know. Maybe I misunderstood what she said, but she said DL and the people who were at the show. Maybe she meant the people who was with his group at the time. I don't know. Well, anyway, she invited them back to the show, back to her house. I'm sorry. And she was saying that where she comes from, if she invites you to her house, that's her inner sanctum, that's her space. And if she invites you there, that's really, really personal to her. And she know that means a lot if she invites you to her house. Now, she said that she cooked for them. They all had a good time. And she thought they were friends and thought they were cool. But that just goes to show you, just because someone comes to your house and break bread doesn't necessarily mean that they're your friend. Because she said after that, she saw DL do interviews. And this is over a span of years. Because I'm going to come back around to why she says she was really mad. Because during her stand-up, she was saying how angry she was about the top billing for that particular performance. And she was supposed to be the headliner. And she was talking about the contract and all those things. Well, when I watched it, in my mind, I was thinking, it sounds like it has to be something more. Well, during her interview during her live with her husband, she said that there was definitely more. And then she told why she was upset. Well, she said that many years ago, she went to do the DL Hughley. I'm assuming she meant like the radio show, I think. And she said at the end of the interview, there was a black woman, and the black woman asked her, "Hey Mo, you want to play a game?" So Mo said she was trying to be a, a team player, just having a good time with them. And she was like, "Yes, I'll play." Well, they said, okay, I can't remember what they said the name of the show was, but the question was asked to her: would you prefer Sidney, and everyone knows Sidney's her husband, or daddy? That's what she called it. That's weird to me, but hey, everybody do what they do. The question was asked to her: would you prefer if your husband had sex with Lee Daniels and used a condom, or would you feel better if he had sex with Corinne Steffens and did not use a condom? And I was like, when I first heard it, I was like, damn, that's fucked up. That's the first thing I thought, because who would ask a woman that about her husband? And then, what does Corinne Steffen have to do with anything? But back in the 90s, early 2000s, she was very popular because she came out with the book. I think the book was called Superhead. And she kind of outed all of these interesting people that she was having sex with, talked about the size of that penis, blah, blah, blah. That's a video for another time. But that's who Corinne Steffens was. So Corinne had this reputation that she was like a loose woman or had sex with a lot of different people. So in essence, they was asking Monique, would you prefer your husband have sex with a man and use a condom, or have sex with this woman who is supposedly loose without a condom? And I'm like, damn. Well, Monique said she didn't like the question at all. Now, she never said if she answered yes. She never said if she answered the question. What she did say was DL was not there for that interview. She was only talking to his people. Now, that's just stuck in my mind. She was angry because she said, well, let me get DL's number. She said she called DL and said, hey, let me let you know what happened when I went to interview with your people. They asked me this question. And she said that DL said, oh, that's just my people. That's just how they are. Right then, she said she knew that was it. Because she felt like, because they were friends, because they broke bread at her house, that he should have at least apologized for their behavior. And she said he didn't. He did not apologize for what the people who work with him did. And she said from then on, she's always seen different interviews with him, and he's always had little slick stuff to say about her. Well, I don't know if he did it back then, but she kind of made reference where he was talking with Steve Harvey, and he and Steve Harvey was saying some little slick things about her, and she didn't like that. So she said she didn't say anything insulting to his wife while she did her little rant the other night. Well, in my opinion, she shouldn't have even brought his wife up, but they always say you can't do something to somebody and then try to dictate how they respond back. So she felt like he did something to her 20 years ago when he didn't say he was sorry for something his employees did, not employees, co-workers, or whatever the people were. He didn't apologize for their actions and the question that they asked her. And then he has, per Miss Monique, he's been talking about her all this time in different interviews. And she said she never said anything. She said she always knew she was just going to wait. So she's been waiting all these years to be in the same space with D.L. Hughley. Just pretty much talk about him, cuss him out, do whatever. Now, if she felt vindicated, I don't know. If she felt better about it, I don't know. But I can assume she must not feel too good, because now her and her husband are doing a live talking about it. Well, anyway, she said that at the end of that she didn't say anything about his wife, but she said his wife sucking the pee of a coward. So how would that make the wife feel? I'm sure not too good. Now, somebody even said that his mom was in the audience that night. I don't know. I have no idea, but that's what I heard. Anyway, it was strange that what's his name? Sidney kept telling her what to say and redirecting her statements. I'm like, that is a weird situation to me. That's what I thought. And Sidney said that Monique has been called the female Richard Pryor by comedy greats. Possible. I wasn't there, so I don't know if they said it or not, but he did say that. And she referenced Steve's book, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. I read the book. I thought it was a good book. But she said that she's not equipped to think like a man. So why should he pretty much be telling women to do that? She again called DL tender. She said, I'm not talking about your sexuality. I'm just saying, you seemed a little tender. She's trying to say he seemed like he was a little upset. Well, she brought up the Oprah Tyler situation. Sidney said that Tyler is on tape saying that he would make it right. He said, but he never made it right. Again, the husband seems to talk more than she does. I just find it very strange. I don't know. Maybe he wants to be the entertainer and he uses the time he has with Monique to say what he needs to say. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But he did, in my opinion, he talked more than Monique, and she was the one who was in the situation. Um, so I couldn't really tell, was Monique offended or was he offended? Offended. Maybe both, because that's his wife. I don't know. But he kept chiming in on everything she said. He kept chiming in. So Sidney talked about the contracts and the definition of a performance agreement, and she still said DL has not shown the contract for the performance they did at the Fox Theater. So until contracts are shown, we really don't know who was supposed to get top billing. Here, they both could have had a contract that said they both were supposed to get top billing, and it's all on the promoters. We don't know, but I'm sure something is going to come out. Sidney talked about how Mo has spoken up for the extras on the set and how she's really for the people. And she didn't like the fact that DL said he gave her a chance when he worked with her at the Fox Theater. And she was like, well, how did you give me a chance? You wasn't the one paying me and doing all those things. I understood what he meant. He was saying pretty much people have told him don't do it. He saw the situation between Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, and the Oprah Winfrey debacle. He saw how that was going, and he just, I guess, didn't want to associate himself with her. And he said, hey, you know what? She hasn't done anything to me. Let me work with her based on the relationship they've had in the past. And he even said in his radio show, maybe he shouldn't have, he made a mistake. But she was saying, how did you give me a chance? It wasn't your show. You didn't give me anything. So that's what she was saying. Now, she was encouraging everyone to listen to all of the facts. She called out Roland Martin, Ricky Smiley. She called him out, and Kim Whitley. So I guess they've all said something about this thing that's going on with D.L. Hughley. And she called them out on there. And the Hughleys was on from 1998. I checked online. They said they were on from 1998 to 2002. That's the duration of the series, The Hughleys, that D.L. Hughley was the star. Him and Elise Neal was on that. Now, Monique said that I guess somebody from the show called and asked her to be on the show, and she was like, absolutely not. I will not be on that show. And she talked about the daddy comment and how people think that their love is weird because she calls him daddy, he calls her mom. Now, me personally, I don't find it weird. She says that a lot all the time. I don't find it particularly weird because my grandparents called each other mama and daddy. But they say they did it so their children wouldn't grow up calling the other parent by their first name. So me growing up with my grandmother calling my grandfather daddy and my grandfather calling her mama, I didn't find it weird. But they didn't talk to people like, oh, my daddy, They didn't do that. So I don't know. It's just a little strange. I don't find it that strange, but in their dynamic, it seems a little weird how she's always daddy, daddy, daddy. But okay, anyway, that's just them. All right. She said she's doing this for the people. But it seemed like she was doing it for herself because the people would have never known that she had this issue with D.L. Hughley from many, 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 many years ago. And she said that she's held on to this and was just waiting for the opportunity to serve him his ass on a platter. She just kept saying it. She's waiting for an opportunity to serve him his ass. And I guess this past weekend was her opportunity. So I don't see how that was really for the people. She also talked about Vivica Fox. I'm not sure what Vivica Fox said. I'm gonna have to go online and try to find out what exactly she said, but she did say that something about Vivica Fox. Sidney said that she's not spilling anyone's tea. She says she's going to be out more on the stage in North Carolina, and she's going to put more on the stage. Now, I ain't mad at her for promoting her show in North Carolina. That's what she's supposed to do. And she said, hey, I'm going to be talking more on the stage. So, hey, guess what? People are probably going to run and buy a ticket just to hear what the hell she got to say. Even though somebody's probably going to be in there with a phone recording and we're going to get to watch it for free. But hey, anyway, but yeah, she said that she will let more out then. Sidney said, I think Sidney really want to be the star. That's just my opinion. I don't know. Let's see what else. Mo says she hasn't heard from any black female comedians that were checking for her just to see if she's okay. She says she hasn't heard from any. Now, if she'll hear from any after this live video, we don't know. But she specifically was calling out Kim Whitley. So I don't know what Kim Whitley said about her either. We know that Kim Whitley is a very popular comedian and actress. And she said, this is for y'all. When she was talking about she hadn't heard from the female comedian, she said, this is for y'all. And they had nothing to do with that. So I'm not really sure. So anyway, that was my little take on it. I'm not really sure. I'm quite certain more is going to come out between her and D.L. Hughley. My own personal opinion. I wish D.L. Hughley wouldn't say anything else. I wish she stayed quiet as a mouse and let her keep going on her rants about what it is. And I also wish she would be quiet and just let it go. Because if there was some type of contract dispute, they could have took it up with the promoter behind the scenes. If I was at the show, I probably would have been looking like, I really don't want to hear that. I love going to comedy shows, but I want to laugh. I got a good, hearty, loud Southern laugh. And I want to laugh when I go see stuff like that. I don't want to sit and listen to somebody tell me about what's going on backstage about their contract. It would be, I don't know. But anyway, y'all, this is G Butterfly. Thank you for coming over to the Watch and Whisper channel. I just want to do a quick review of what Monique talked about on her live today with her and Sidney. Or should I say Sidney and her, because he did most of the talking. Well, all right, y'all. Thank you for coming over to my channel. Remember to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. And check me out on the next video, because you know I'm coming back. I might come live from the bed later, depending on what happened between 9 and the time I eat my mom's pizza. All right. Well, thank you for coming over. Talk to you later.